All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our August webinar for the Yountville Chamber of Commerce with WSI, how to successfully execute a promotion for your business. I will go ahead and turn it over to Andreas and let him get started. Take it away.
Thank you, Jessica, and good morning, everyone, and happy to present. And I'm very pleased, and thanks to the Chamber to organize this. It's always great fun to share some things. And I have a feeling promoting your business is a very interesting topic right now to get, more tasting room visitors, plan for the holiday business. So I think it's a good time to do this. And again, Jessica and team, thanks so much for giving us the opportunity. What I'm planning to do a very quick introduction. I think probably most of you know us. Very quick. This is our new office. I'm actually in our meeting room in Devlin Road at the airport area. Our marketing agency is Napa based. We started in 2014. Have over 150 clients. I can say nationwide now. We focused on local clients. Most of them are local, but we have quite a lot of interest national, even international. It's pretty interesting. We won a couple of awards in website design, and we are actually in the running for one more this year. So a couple of weeks I should know. So websites is a lot of the activities that what we do. Having a good landing spot for the promotion. I'm going to talk about this. Is a very important element. And just very quickly, what we do is to help our clients with their online presence. It's the websites. As I said, we develop a lot of websites, DTC solution with wine stores. We do a lot of website maintenance, security, and hosting. There's lots going on around the security area, as you can imagine. It's an unbelievable uptick of hacker attacks currently happening on websites. So I can only recommend to take this very seriously. And then, telling the story of our clients, social media services, content creation, graphic design. We have partnered with photographers to always have some good material. And, your reputation online is important. So that's your presence. We'll briefly talk about it because it plays a big role in lead generation. And then we help with lead generation, growing business, search engine optimization. We'll talk about it, what it means, a little bit more long-term lead generation. Very popular is search advertising, pay-per-click, social media advertising, email marketing, your channel, or with some automation, even doing some good follow-ups on activities your clients might do. And all of this is data. At the end, we collect a lot of data, and we need to make meaningful decisions out of it so that we really drive the business growth. We also do persona development. I briefly touch on this because it's very important to understand the target audience that you want to address. And it's always good to know what's my market, what are my competitors doing. So an assessment is always a very interesting part. But let's go into the concrete topic. And I'm planning to have one or two quick stops during my presentation so that you can ask questions. Jessica is collecting the question. I think we are using the chat function probably as an easy way. And at the end, I think we have an open mic and everyone can ask any question. It's always great to get some feedback, and please don't be shy to ask the question. I really like to make this as interactive as possible. I think this is probably the most important slide. It's when you do a promotion, you really have to sit back and go through a couple of questions, ask yourself. And I think these questions, and these are actually kind of the agenda through the presentation, is really what's my goal? What do I want to achieve? Do I want to sell 500 cases of wine? Do I want to get more tasting room visitors? Do I want to get more tour bookings? Whatever your business is, it's really good to have a goal and have a very concrete goal. Out of the concrete goal, we can make some calculations. I will show you a simulator at the end to give you a feeling what should be my expectation when I run an advertising campaign or when I do social media. So that's very important to be concrete. And then who is my target audience? I think the more precise we can be with the target audience, the better we understand also how can I reach them? What's the best channel to reach my target audience? And probably the most effective way at the end to get, you know, whatever your goal is, some sales and these kind of things, very important to understand. What am I offering? You know, when you think about an ad or you think about the landing page, what is my key marketing message that should resonate with people? You know, we live in such a fast moving world these days, and we really want to have a key message that people quickly understand. What happens when people click on the link? Let's say you're running an ad campaign, people click on the link, what happens then? Very important, that brings now the landing page or the website. A lot of, you know, lead generation campaigns bring people to the website that they can learn more, but social media plays a big role. So what happens when they click on the link? And what do I want people to do? No, now they land on the page, what do I want them to do? And there's I will show you a structure of a landing page that is answering 3 very critical questions. You know, typically we have 5 seconds, maybe 7 seconds before the next click happened. And we don't want to have this being the back button. Then people will never come back. So that's very important. And then what channel? I'm going to talk about the different channels during this presentation, what role they play and where they play, especially along the sales funnel. I will talk about the sales funnel because I think, and I will show you later some real data, the promotion of your business is actually more than just one channel. It's more or less your online presence that you have that at the end enables a successful sale. And I will show you an example that Google has some case studies on. What's my budget, my ROI, return on investment, and how do I measure success? There's going to be a couple of data as an example at the end of the presentation. So what is the goal of the lead generation? And I like to really think about 2 main areas. There's a brand awareness campaign and generating some new leads, maybe bringing people to a sign-up form where you then can go to the next steps. Maybe you pick up the phone. In our case, I always like to get people to sign up for maybe a short conversation and these kind of things, a webinar sign up. So what is the area? Or even more concrete, I want to sell something online, or I want to bring people to my restaurant, to my store. And you know, there's all kinds of different products. This could be physical products, could be gift cards, it could be workshops, classes, it could be food, donations, memberships, consultations, subscriptions. So whatever you want to sell, and this is really the opportunity is really thinking about, okay, how do I get people, number 1, to the right page? How do I entice them? And number 2, what's happening when they are there? I will give you a couple of ideas what the typical conversion rate of a website is, so that you can also think about some of your own calculations, what you want to achieve. My target audience, who do I want to address? And it's really important to get as much information as possible and segmenting the audience, maybe geographical locations. Maybe I want to specifically address, and I stay with an example, I'm looking for tasting room visitors right now. So maybe it makes sense to drive some ads, maybe I call it a 2-hour driving distance. So people that live in Silicon Valley, people that live in Sacramento that might plan the next weekend, your ad might be very well positioned. So it gives us an indication if you run campaign where. We want to understand what's your typical persona, your key customers. You can also segment them by lifetime value. That's, for example, very interesting if you have a wine club and you might want to treat your top buyers a little bit different than someone who just joined. Where in the funnel, I'm going to talk about the funnel. That's very important to understand in which stage people are. And then, the typical industry, job title, and these kind of things. This area is very interesting if you think about LinkedIn. There are some really good opportunities to use LinkedIn in addressing some very specific groups or jobs, people that have, let's say, for example, executive assistants, they're planning the holiday business, maybe the presents for their clients, maybe you want to show up with them, and a little bit of the history, what people did in the past, and language education. These are just some ideas and not applies to everyone, but this could be also interesting. Do some persona development, and these are just two personas that we use for our own business. If you understand who these people are, what is driving them to make decisions, how are they measured to be successful. And these are just two different people. One is a marketing executive and the other one is a business owner. They have different goals, but the more I understand how my target personas are behaving, who they are, the better I understand where I can find them. For example, are they going to trade shows? Are they doing a specific activity? Should I be there? So that it gives you a lot of information, and the persona development can really open the eye and the ideas of how to best communicate to these people so that we have messages that resonate with them. And these are just a couple of ideas of ads, that kind of what's my special message? What do I want to have? Video is big, and you see there's some wineries, there's some tour, there is a webinar sign up, there's a brand awareness for a radio station and these kind of things. So just to give a couple of ideas, this is very important that people immediately understand what this is about to click on it. And the call to action is a very important element that entices people to click, and then they end on the landing page, or they might end up on an email capture campaign that is a form that we use in Facebook directly. So these kind of things are very important. And now what happens when people click the link? And one thing that we don't want to have is something like this. Statistically, 68% of users, when they click the link and nothing happens, we have this kind of things happening sometimes on our phone, 68% of users will never return. If the page load time of the landing page or of the website is not in the 1 to 2 second brackets, it's really impacting the return of people, it's impacting the conversions. And Google has actually made the page load time of your web pages a ranking criteria. You might have heard about the core web vitals that Google is using to measure. But I think do this test, see how the landing page is reacting. It has a major impact on getting the people to the page and have them, stay and do additional things. But it also impacts SEO, search rankings, and all these kind of things. And after this next two slides, I'm going to have a quick break for questions. So when I bring people to the landing page, think about what I want them to do. And I just gave one example. This is our homepage. This is a webinar sign up of an estate lawyer and a shop. What do I want people to do? And that's very important to get it right in their eyes, but also to have some additional, I call it a trust builder. So when we click on a link, and then I'm going to pause, you have, let's say you have your ad. It's an old ad that we were running. You click on the link and you get to the landing page. We ask ourselves 3 questions. So after I saw this ad, the question number 1 is, am I in the right place? Okay, the ad was about the website. Okay, I land on a page that talks about the website right there when it opens. So, okay, I seem to be in the right page. How do I feel about this? So first thing is, am I in the right page? Okay, that fits. How do I feel about this? There's trust builders. For example, star ratings, a very big trust builder where you have people, see how many ratings this company has, maybe some examples. So this is where things really resonate with people. And then the third question is, what is next? All the call to action buttons, the clicks that we want, pick up the phone, maybe email us. make it very simple. And this happens in 5 to 7 seconds. So when we click on the ad, in 5 to 7 seconds, typically the next click happens. So we want to make sure I quickly understand I'm in the right place. Is it interesting, or is there enough information that I want? And what is the next step? And I think with that, I'm gonna give it a quick break. And Jessica, I'm not sure if you have any questions.
Not yet, but if anyone wants to unmute yourself or raise your hand, feel free to ask any questions, or we can save them to the end too. But any questions? Doesn't look like it, not yet.
Okay, please feel free to ask questions. So let's go to the next area, which is still on for the website and you know, the things that we do. One thing is really important is mobile. I can't underline mobile enough. You know, if you drive some advertising or social media or even email marketing, the majority of what you do is actually received on the mobile phone. You have to assume today that when you bring a new lead to your website, it's happening on mobile. And in general, advertising specifically drives 80% plus of mobile visitors. So it's very important when you plan anything to look at your mobile phone, go to your website, see how it works. Mobile dominates online shopping as well. So if you want to sell something, it's really important that the whole sales process is pretty easy to do on the mobile phone. Another impact of mobile, Google recognized that most of the users are actually using the mobile phone. Your performance on mobile is also driving your rankings. So desktop rankings, tablet rankings are all driven on your mobile performance. So I can only do mobile. And if you want to sell something online, it's even more important to see how is this whole process. You know, if I look at the shopping cart, do I find the information that I need? Do I quickly see what I put into the cart? Is there any critical information missing? And I can give you one example. Information is maybe additional costs that I have at the end during the checkout process, maybe shipping costs, maybe there's some special fees that are coming up. So it's very important to have information available, or a way that people can get to this information, maybe by opening a little information box on the website, or to have real-time assistance, like a chat function on your website, or an easy way to call someone if there are questions. If we ask too many questions during the checkout process, and I know that tour companies need to ask more questions than if I got going to buy just a standard product, but less is more. Less clicks, less request of information is better during this checkout process. Specifically, think about mobile. If you have to fill out a lot of form fields on mobile, it's not easy to fill them out, and not everything auto-populates in the right way. So people have to correct things. So less form fields is better than too many. You really want to speed up the transactions. You want an easy way of people looking at the shopping cart content. And you know, if sometimes it doesn't work, people are not ready to buy yet, that's a good opportunity for abundant advertising, or even emails. If your system allows, somebody put something in the cart, I happen to know the email address, and now I want to send them a cart abandonment email, and maybe be able to bring them right back to their cart when they continue and finish the shopping. These kind of retargeting, they actually have a pretty high conversion compared to other ads. So you don't need a lot of them, but they can be very effective. Any questions? Okay, let's talk about the different channels. Now that I think laid out the foundation, what we need, and I really like to underline again, you're doing all the work to bring the leads to your landing page, whatever you do. but don't underestimate the power of a well-functioning landing page, the power of a well-functioning store. Let's say you bring 100 people to this landing page and your conversion is, standard conversion is 2%. So out of 100 people, the standard website converts 2. If we do a great job, and specifically you got the conversion, up to 5%, which is not unheard, or maybe even 10%, because we have this super well functioning landing page. Now, out of the same 100 people, you got 5 leads, or you got 10. So it's really, we should not underestimate setting up the website and the landing page in the right way. It has a major impact. Spending all the money on maybe advertising, get these 100 people coming, and then the conversion isn't high enough. One very important aspect, if I think about the buyer, and I showed this picture before, but I think it's so interesting to think about. When we have an idea, let's say I live in New York and I said, hey, let's go to Napa. So what are you doing? You want to try to learn about Napa. What can I do? What might be some interesting, hotels where I can book, get a feel. So this is an example that Google published actually, I think 2 years ago, about the buyer's journey. And Jill is just an artificial person, but she was looking for some makeup. And, in this whole journey, she had 125 touch points to really understand. So this is more, I want to learn about some very specific cosmetics. She was doing this actually on her phone. She had the idea, maybe sitting in public transportation, starting to search, look at different websites, get a little bit more educated. Then she used her computer, watched a YouTube video. Then she did another total of 20 searches, and now she's becoming more specific to say, okay, what are maybe brands that I want to go to? And what is a brand offering? So the search now has changed to be more familiar with the brand and learn about it. And then finally, she went to the search for the location on mobile and went to the shop. This journey is touching more or less potentially everything that's out there of a brand. And this is why this is so important to look at the complete presence, because you never know what people are doing to learn about this. And I have some examples at the end where you can really see this multi-channel conversions, because you can think about, okay, Jill came to me via an ad first, but she might return via search. So there's different models that are very interesting. And let's talk about some of the channels. So I think from a lead generation perspective, there is 4 very important channels. So digital advertising, and when I talk about digital advertising, there's social media advertising, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. So using the social media presence that you have, and also, what the users are doing is a very good way of targeting, interest-based, create some interesting audiences. I'm going to talk about this in a moment. Very popular, search engine marketing. With Google and Bing. Google has a huge market share in the United States, so it's 80% plus. Bing has about 20%, is also running searches for other companies. So both are very attractive opportunities, and you can differentiate about search, display, and remarketing capabilities. I will talk about in a moment where they fit very well. Then general social media marketing. Posting to my audience or boosting my posts. That's definitely a very important element in the journey. Search engine optimization can be very effective, but it is a little bit more long-term lead generation strategy. Search engine optimization will not change your ranking overnight. You need some time, but it has a major impact on people, when they find you on organic search, and about 80% of people click on the organic search links, they are looking for something specific. And if they find a great landing page, this can be very highly converting traffic. So people on search, or people on search engine marketing, which is a paid search as part of it, they are typically very highly converting traffic. And yes, your email marketing is a very powerful channel. It's your own channel, You own the content. You can really define what you want. You don't have any other company in between that defines who do I show the ad or something like this. It's your channel, can be very powerful. But we also need to be really good on email marketing. I think at this point in time, I think somewhere 96% of all emails sent daily are spam emails. And you know your own inbox, how full it gets, even just to run the business. So if you want to have an email marketing campaign promoting something or putting your brand in front of something, it's really important that it resonates with your audience. I already talked a little bit about the sales funnel, and this is a really important point I want to make, that not every website visitor is the same. Some people are coming very early. We want to attract people in their journey. You know, for example, if I live in New York and I want to come to Napa Valley, and you know, I learned about Yountville. Yountville is a great little town, and you know, the yountville.com website gives me a lot of information to research, things to do. So that's what we do in this early stage. We are researching about something. We want to get educated about what we are planning. And then in the middle of the funnel, now I come back to yountville.com, and there's great links to hotels, to wineries. Now I want to become much more specific and study what maybe is a great hotel to stay. So in the middle of the funnel, now I'm becoming more specific, and depending what your business is, I'm looking at some much more specific information. For example, white papers, guides. You know, I compare different hotels or different wineries, what they offer. So I really make up my mind in what I wanted to do. Maybe building my plan when I visit the weekend. What's my list of things to do? And then at the tip of the funnel, now I'm ready to buy. Now I'm ready to book the hotel. I'm ready to make reservations. I'm ready to buy a product I have learned a lot about. You know, think about Jill and her customer journey. This is what she did. She started with an idea, so research, and now she knows which brand, and now she was looking for a location. So the tip of funnel. You also see that the funnel indicates how many people are at which stage. So if you do some awareness campaigns, you probably have a broader group of people that you're going to address. And then if you go down the funnel, actually the number of people that are in this funnel are getting smaller. So typically these last tip of the funnel ads, they don't have a lot of money that's required. Because the group of people is relatively small, but it's very effective to use these tactics. Where here on advertising, for example, you want to spend probably the most money to attract the people, to get them to the website, to make people that they understand your brand. And you know, just a couple of digital marketing things, and this is what I mean. It's more or less everything that's out there that influences people. You know, people that are in the awareness stage, they look at the website, the first impression, photos, videos. This is interesting. They read the blogs. You know, in advertising, yes, there is some general searches that might be interesting to look at. Maybe best hotel in Napa Valley. It's a general search. That's what you want to rank for, or you want to pay for it. And then social media is becoming very important. I want to understand what's going on with a specific brand, but social media is also a very powerful search engine. So people use social media to search for things. And you know, you want to come up on social media, and people are looking for your services and these kind of things. In the middle of the funnel, it's really now more about the depths of content that the website has. You know, we call it lead magnets. Can I get some special information? You know, the landing pages are becoming more important. Maybe some forms that people fill out. You know, maybe they're going to join and want to receive your email. So these are very important elements. Social media plays a key role here, and also reviews as a trust builder. You want to learn about the brand. You know, remarketing. Now that we know that people are interested, now we can maybe bring some specific ads to them and bring them back. SEO and search advertising, more specific in this stage. This is more learning phase. This is more specific to go deeper, maybe even comparing different companies. And email marketing, if you got an email address and you can use it, maybe you have a marketing automation platform that can do some lead scoring and run some automations, can be very powerful in this stage. And then a tip of funnel, this is now really about conversion. Now people are ready to buy. People are looking at the website, maybe want to do an online transaction. We discussed how important the landing page or the store is. In this phase, it's also very interesting. A lot of branded searches. I already have my short list of 2-3 companies. People use search and even advertising for these companies to click on the link to get back. Now I want to make my decision, quickly get back to the brand I selected. So SEO and pay-per-click play a big role here. And I mentioned this before, some people put product in the cart or they look at specific, your product pages or service pages, but they did not decide. This is where cart and browse abandonment ads are very important. You probably see this. Amazon is doing this a lot, and be careful before Christmas when you look for a present for your partner and you live in the same household. The household is being addressed by these ads, so your partner will also see in the Facebook feed, for example, what kind of products you looked at. So just a tip. This is what is happening with cart and browse abandonment. Personalized emails. Again, with tailored content are very interesting. And people are asking in the last stages a lot about demos, reviews, and these kind of things. So everything out there touches the journey. I hope this is one message I could communicate. And let's quickly go from a lead generation type. Where are these different lead generation channels that we discussed really play a role? In the brand awareness and discovery area, social media ads are really powerful. We can do some demographic, some interest-based targeting. That's really interesting. We can create lookalike audiences. Let's say you have a list of customers or leads from the past. We could create an audience. We can create a lookalike audience from website visitors and say, this is my typical website visitors. And with a lookalike audience, you can now say, I want to address people that have the same kind of behavior in other areas. For example, let's say you have a very successful website business going on, and this is what the people that are visiting me, this is the ideal profile that will be created in a lookalike audience. And then you can say, I want to find the same kind of people with this profile in an area, maybe New York City. Display ads are very interesting. Display ads are showing up on your phone, are showing up in blogs. We can do interest and contextual targeting. Think about the person who plans to visit Napa Valley is reading a blog about things to do in Napa Valley. So the advertising engine knows that this person is looking at such a blog. And if there is an advertising spot, you might want to bid a little bit more if you're a hotel or tour company to show your ad at this point in time, because they're already reading about things to do. What is also very powerful is what we call it hyper-local, to target people that are, in buildings, in downtown areas. If you have if you're looking for last-minute, tasting room visitors or tour bookings, that's a very effective way of being in front of the right people that are already in a location like Napa Valley, and they're spending maybe some time in downtown Yountville on an evening. That would be a perfect time to show them this ad. When we go into the next stage, interested audiences, remarketing, again, the same kind of tactics that we use here, but now for different audiences, people that have been on your website, people that follow you, people that have engaged with the ad. That's a really good remarketing opportunity. SEO and paid search always plays a great role here. I explained this before, and if you have email marketing set up and we know the email address, this is a very important activity with email marketing. And then the same kind of tactics are being used in the ready to buy stage. I will give you one example very quickly. This is a winery example, and then I'm open for the next round of questions. Brand awareness campaigns, for example, the lookalike audience. I mentioned the 2-hour driving distance is a very attractive way of getting last-minute visitors to come maybe for a weekend. People typically plan these kind of short weekend trips during the week. So it's great to be in front of them and bring your brand in front of these people. You can do interest-based targeting, people that have shown interest in wine, that have maybe shown interest in traveling. That's a great audience. Again, you can do interest-based plus limiting where these ads are showing. Napa Valley visitors, this could be a first ad in this area. The content would be fun, info, the call to action, learn more what to do. What is also working in this area is lead gen, for example, page-like campaigns to grow your audience. What you want to get more people following you on social media. That could be a good way. Boosting of posts is a good idea to get some information in front of these people. If we go to the second stage, these are people that know your brand. So this is what we call a cold audience. They have never potentially heard about your brand, but this is a warm audience. So they have been on your website. They have been following your social media. They have engaged with an ad. So here it would be interesting to run an ad, or people that are already, let's say, in Napa Valley. We know they are visiting from somewhere else, but they're already in Napa Valley. That could be a very interesting audience in this area as well. Plus, what we want to start doing here, get a little bit more concrete, maybe have some specials, maybe want to promote some events, maybe want to promote some specific, tasting options or something like this. And the call to action is, learn more, maybe join our email list, these kind of things, so that people are signing up, and we have the opportunity with the email list to become even more specific. And then ready to buy. This is where you have your social media and website visitors, you can differentiate between a longer term, this is a bigger audience, or a shorter term, which is a smaller audience, people that have been very concrete. But the biggest thing is browse and cart abandonment. We know that people have already looked at products, has already put things into the cart, but didn't finish. That's a very interesting opportunity, and we can be much, much more specific by book now kind of call to actions in this stage. Okay, I'm going to give it a little break for questions.
Any questions? You're doing such a good job. No one has any questions. Feel free to just unmute yourself if you have any questions right now, or we can keep going. I think we're all set.
Okay, good. So now we have done all of this. We have identified our target audience. We know which channel we are using, or channels. Again, this is a multi-channel potentially that is interesting. Now we have done all of this, and then the question is, how do I measure my success? This is the next area I like to discuss. And measuring success, it's really important to understand what are my key performance indicators I'm looking at. And what do some budget calculations, how much would I need, and then some return on investment, and how do I measure if my customer journey is really a successful one. So the first slide is talking about how do I measure activities I'm doing. And let's say my sales goal is I want to sell 200 cases of wine. So that's what I want to do. I have inventory, I want to sell it off, it fits to the season. So a couple of things, if you do advertising and these kind of things, very important to understand, how many times is my ad shown? This is what's called the number of impressions. So how many times did my ad show up, for example, on Instagram or Facebook or Google showed my ad? So the number of impressions, that is also, you can say, my brand awareness. The more your ad shows up, the more brand awareness opportunity you have. If you want to search a PPC campaign and you show up in top rankings, even people don't click on it, but they see your brand showing up on different searches. So number of impressions. If you look at social media statistics, for example, Facebook, there's also the reach is another way of looking at it. Reach means how many individual profiles did we reach? And the number of impressions is higher because some of these profiles might have seen the ad more than once. So if you can influence how many times a specific ad is shown to a profile, but that's a good number. And then the next number, which I think is really important to get a feeling, what is my CPM? CPM is cost per 1,000 impressions. So I showed my ad 1,000 times, and what do I have to pay? On Facebook, this is their main way of charging you. I showed the ad 1,000 times. What is the CPM? So that's a very, very important measurement. You can also see it on Google. My search ad or my display ad showed up 100,000 times. So now you have a good idea. And I always look at the CPM to say, where are we? Are we, to give you an idea, this typically the numbers are in the $10 to $20 range. So you show your ad 1,000 times and you pay $10, maybe $20. So that's a good range. You know, some of the retargeting ads might be a little bit more expensive, but they're also more powerful from the click. So CPM is not the only measurement you want to look at, but it gives you a good indication about the brand exposure. Then I think the most important number that you really want to look at is, okay, I have my ads running. What is the number of clicks or the number of landing page views? So how many people came to the website, to the landing page? So this is, for example, clicks and landing page views is a clear measurement point that social media is giving you. Via Google Analytics, you get the same. How many clicks do I see? How many landing page visitors do I have? Because that's at the end the opportunity to present your more details about your special. And then this is cost per click. How much money do I have to invest to get someone to click? You know, on Google advertising, that you can use Google's keyword research opportunity. You get an idea what you have to pay an average cost per click. Google heavily influences your real cost per click in relationship to your website performance, your landing page, how well is your landing page built, what is the content. So if you do SEO and you have a good SEO position, your cost per click is lower. So people underestimate how much the quality of the landing page impacts the cost per click calculation on Google. It's massive. And not always the one who bids the most gets the first position. It's actually not the case. The best landing page gets the top position, and then your bid plays a role, but it's not the only thing. And at the end, if it comes down to money, number of conversions. So how many webinar signups did I get? How many people bought my cases of wine? Where am I? So that's a very important one. And then you can calculate what's my cost per acquisition? How much do I have to pay to get the sales? Let's play some numbers quickly. So let's say I got cost per click. Let's say I make it very simple, $1 cost per click. It's not unusual. Typically, I would say if you want to be safe, calculate $1.50 to $2 as a cost per click number. But let's use $1. So I have a cost per click of $1. I spend $1,000 advertising, so I get 1,000 people coming to my landing page. And then I want to see, okay, how many people did purchase? Let's say I got 10 people purchasing it. So my cost of acquisition, so I had 10 people, which is low. It's a low number of conversions that I had. I spent $1,000, so my cost per acquisition is $100. That's a very high number. So you spent $100 to get one conversion. I think a realistic number, if you have a reasonable converting a landing page, should be more in the $20 range. So that gives you an idea, where should I land up with my cost per acquisition? How much money do I need to spend in advertising to get a conversion? And then you can also calculate what's called the return on an ad spend. I give you an idea with a simulator I show you in the next slide. So we have this little software tool where you can simulate different channels, and I just built a very simple one. I said, each of my channels gives me 1,000 clicks. You have Facebook ads running, 1,000 clicks, and the cost per click is $1.50. I have social media organic running. I do posting, but I don't have to pay for it. I didn't do any boostings. I have email marketing. I have Google ads running, and same cost per click of $1.50. So in total, I'm getting 4,000 people coming to my landing page. So 4,000 people land on my store product page. If you want to use a wine example that I selected, and I said, okay, I have a 5% conversion rate, and I want to specifically push a wine case sales. So that's a bottle of wine that sells $25. My production cost of the bottle of wine is $10. So I factor this in. I want to understand, is this a successful campaign? In the case of wine, the 12 bottles is $250. So I got more or less 2 bottles for free. So I really want to push the case sale, and I made an assumption. Okay, 30% of people buy bottles, 70% of people buy cases, and we got a feeling here how the split is. And then people go to the checkout page, and I said, okay, my assumption is 75% of people actively convert. So out of 4,000 visitors, I get 200 people going to my checkout page, and then 150 people see the thank you page. Successful transaction. This is not unrealistic. You see the conversion is 3.75%. That's a pretty reasonable conversion. Out of 4,000 leads that were generated, I got 150 orders. So pretty interesting to see. So what I also know, that I have production costs, because I have $10 out of what I sold, is $13,000. My traffic cost, because I have to pay Google, I have to pay Facebook with $1.50 per 1,000 clicks. So it's $1,500 for Facebook, $1,500 for Google. And I have some assumptions of merchant fee. And if I do all this kind of calculation, my revenue out of this campaign this month was $27,000. And my cost, which is production cost, traffic cost, and merchant cost, if I subtract it, my profit is $10,000. So out of this campaign, or the work that I did in this month, I sold 150 orders. I made $10,000 profit on it. This is a split of the cost that you see here, but my cost per acquisition is $20. So I paid $3,000 for traffic. I got 150 orders. 3,000 divided by 150 is $20 cost per acquisition. That's not bad. I also got an average order value of 182. I sold some bottles, but I also sold a lot of cases. So my average order value is in 180, which, by the way, is actually a pretty interesting number. And if I stay with this example, if you try to sell products that are in the $10 range, $20 range, or less than $100, these numbers change. So I always recommend think about what you want to do, and ideally, especially when we go to the holiday business, orders and offers above $100 get better conversions and better cost per acquisition. So you really want to think about what your offer is. And then you can also calculate the return on ad spend. In this case, it's 9.13. So in other words, every dollar you spend on advertising has a $9 return. It's not only advertising. I did not calculate any internal costs for social media posting or other things into this. So if you want to go more in detail, that's possible, but this gives you an idea. And last area I want to touch, it comes back to the customer's journey. And these are some real examples that Google Analytics can get you when you have a store running. So let's say in this case, this company had 327 conversions. Out of the 327 conversions, 155 conversions are called the direct conversions. You know, somebody came via search, they liked the product, and they purchased immediately. That's a direct conversion. So they had one visit, and you know, in this case, it's a pretty good number to get close to 50% direct conversions. But then you have a pretty high number of assisted conversions. So that means maybe someone came via search, doing the brand awareness campaign. They remember the brand, and then they're going to come back via social media, or maybe they come back directly. So these kind of multi-channel conversions are really important to understand. In this case, actually, a lot of people came back via the direct channel. Second one is organic search. So maybe you had an ad running and people liked what they see, they remember the brand, then they do an organic search to come back and convert, and then referrals. So this is a multi-channel conversion, and Google Analytics actually gives us more information. Google Analytics gives us, okay, what are the channels? Let's say in this case, the highest number of assisted conversions were actually coming from organic search as a first touch, and then direct as a finishing. But you see, there's a mix. You know, some people came even more than once. This 20 people, they came via search, and they came twice via direct. So you can get a feeling how many multi-channel conversions are happening, and we know what the time delay is. So out of the, I think, 350 conversions, 224 happened within 1 day. That's a really good number. But you see, there is a time lag of when these conversions are happening, and also how many different transactions were done with multiple touch points. So this really, I wanted to show you the customer journey, and the different touch points are really happening, and it's important to understand what people are doing and how they interact with your website if you sell a product, or you want to promote a webinar, or these kind of things. That concludes my presentation. I'm open for questions. So
thank you, Andreas. That was excellent. You always do such a great job with all of this very complicated information, distilling it down to make it easy to understand. Are there any questions from anyone on the call? No. No questions? Okay. Well, I will send out a copy of the presentation and the recording later this afternoon. So if you have any questions after that, feel free to reach out to me or of course directly to Andreas. And we will hopefully see you guys at one of our next events. Our next mixer is sold out on September 7th, but we do have an October mixer date that we'll be announcing soon. So keep your eyes out for that. And if there's no questions, we'll call that a morning.
thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.